First of all, Luke, I was just speaking to Sam Slocum and I dropped in the word break. I said, you'd had a bit of a break, and maybe I should have made it clear to be a break from games because he was very adamant that this was not a break. Is this the way you've been saying things? This is not a break. I'm sure that the work rate has been the same on the training ground, has it?
The unfortunately for the players, the work rate has increased um, the course of last week and up until now. The players will have a day of rest tomorrow, but the schedule has been very intense for them in terms of training, because I feel like it's our duty to respect the break in games and use that to ramp up our conditioning and our understanding of how we want to play the game. And so, yes, the players are very tired, very sore, and I hope that they take their frustration out on the opposition, and not myself. But that's been the mentality of this period of time, has been to use it to maximise our strength and our conditioning and our understanding of how we want to play.
So from now, are you looking for more of the same from what you've had so far this season, or are you now asking for just more from the players?
Yeah, I don't think that we should be overly disappointed with how we've done up to now. I think that the level of performance has actually steadily crept up, I believe, and that may seem a strange thing to say with more draws than wins in the last four games, but I think the level of performance has been very high, and the level of performance from um, every player in the squad, when they've gone in, they've been able to perform at a very high level, and then the next player comes in and they perform at a high level. That's how I understand it, and we now need to make sure that we get the results to match the performances and continue to put points on the board so that we can compete at the very top of the league. So that's been the message really, is can we do what we're doing even better? Can we run harder? Can we be quicker into the tackle? Can we find routes into the goal more cleanly and more accurately? And all those things, unfortunately, if you want to achieve those, you have to put the hard yards in on the training pitch.
When you talk about using it for strength conditioning, all those sides of things, is there also an opportunity when you've got a bit of time on the training ground to try a few surprises? I don't know, set pieces, those kind of things where you've got a bit of time to work on something new, something surprising. Do you do that?
Yeah, I think first of all, the conditioning stuff is not necessarily off the pitch. The vast majority of that is done on the pitch, and conditioning is about being able to play when you're exhausted and sore and tired and feel annoyed. Is can you then still concentrate and produce the same level? Because for us to be able to compete throughout the winter months, we have to be even stronger and more robust than we were in the early months, when the pitches are better and the temperatures are warmer and you have naturally feel lighter and more energy. Now with heavier pitches and games to be played in heavy rain, when the shirt and everything weighs more and the boots weigh more and the ball weighs more, we have to still be able to produce a high level of football. And so the conditioning is like mental conditioning, the conditioning is physical, of course, and it's concentration. All of these things are conditioning as well. Of course, we build into our week all the time. We build into our week routines that we try to practice to give us an opportunity to, make a surprise for the other team. And I think we've seen many good examples of that with free kicks, in particular. So yeah, of course, we build that into the week. Yeah.
Um, Scunthorpe this weekend, a club who've had a horrible few years,
Mm.
7 wins in their last 72. Of course, there can be no mercy when the game is being played, but I just wonder how you feel about seeing a club of that size, who were a championship club in the not too distant past, struggling as they are.
It's very, very upsetting actually, because it's obviously a very important club because the people that support that club in that area, it means a huge amount to them, and the club has been there obviously for a long time, and they deserve a level of stability, and to be able to feel confident that their team are going to be competing in the football league for sure. I think they're a club of that size. And I've been there over the years a number of times in League One when they're pushing very hard for promotion, and they've had some really terrific teams, and they've had some really good support behind them over the years. So it's unfortunate because, like I say, I think there's a lot of people that love the club and deserve to have their club be competing at a high level, but they find themselves where they are, like many other clubs have done, and. Of course, we are on our own journey, and we are trying to win every single game of football. So we can only concentrate on trying to win the game. But once all that is done, yes, I would like to see the club in a better place. But for now, is not unfortunately my concern.
That's great, Luke. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
I'll stop there. Ollie.
Hi, Luke. I just wanted to firstly address, there's been a few rumours flying around on social media, and one of which is that John Bostock is training with the squad. I just wondered whether that was potentially an option in January. Is there something else to it?
No, it's true that John has spent some time training with us. Has been very impressive, as I'm sure you would imagine.
Yeah.
And from now we have people talking to John and his agent, but I'm sure a player of that quality and a man of that quality will have lots of different opportunities available to him. So we will see. We were fortunate enough to have him to come in and train and see what we're trying to do and how we're trying to work, and that was very, very positive experience, and that. So now we see what happens. But no, it's true that John spent a fortnight with us.
What's he been like around the place? Obviously, he's got plenty of experience of playing in the EFL. Has he given some tips to your players at all over his time there?
He's been very, very interesting to work with, and very impressive. So for somebody with the talent and the career behind him that John has, for him to be able to come in and be completely comfortable in himself and with the group of players and staff is really impressive. Again, I say he's an impressive person. So we were really happy to have him in, and we really saw a lot of good qualities there. As you can imagine, it's very easy. But yeah, we have to see what happens now, and we have had conversation with John and his agent.
And then another one was about Connell Rawlinson. A lot of fans had put on social media that they'd seen him at hospital early last week. I was just wondering if there was any injury update on that, or if it's just nothing of concern at all for you.
No, unfortunately, Connell had a clash with one of the guys in training that left him with a lot of pain in the calf, and the trip to the hospital is more to rule stuff out, more than for it to be an emergency, but more to rule out a few things that would be more severe. But we're on top of the situation, and we have to try to wait a bit longer before we know exactly the extent. It can be very, very minor, or could be slightly more serious, but there's nothing to be overly concerned like he's in an emergency situation or something like that.
Just moving on to Scunthorpe this weekend, it was announced earlier in the week that Tony Dawes had stepped down as the first team coach. Does that, I asked Sam the same question, does it alter your preparations at all?
No, I think
going into the game?
Yeah, I think that we're obviously aware of that, and possibly there'd be a formation or a team selection that we couldn't anticipate because somebody has new ideas and what have you. So we need to not worry too much about trying to guess what could happen and this and that, but try to look at their players that they have available to them and get an idea of the qualities of the players and what they're most likely to do, the individuals, what they're most likely to do for the team, and then concentrate on our own preparation as well.
And then obviously with the World Cup fixtures this weekend, the game's been moved to a 12:30 kickoff. I was just wondering if that has anything to do with affecting preparations, because it's an early game. It's probably the earliest that you've played. Does that have an effect at all with it being away as well?
No, I mean we need to be very smart about our work on Friday, because you have less time to recover than you would. Even the few hours actually makes a difference. So we have to be really focused on making the preparations, the final ones on Friday, correct, and then we have to make sure that everybody eats at a unusual meal for that time of day, because we'll be having like a lunchtime meal for breakfast. But the players have experience of that type of thing before, and so we have to just make sure that our preparations in that way have changed now, and that we're doing everything appropriate to give the guys the best chance to perform well at that time of day.
It's just over a month now until 3 of the players that you've had on loan come back to the club. Have conversations been had either with the players or with the club about whether they'll return and fight for a place for the first team for the second part of the season, or whether their loans will be extended at all?
Yeah, there's been contact already, but we'd probably make a more accurate decision on those guys closer to the time, because there'll be a number of factors that make a difference in one way or the other. But yeah, of course we are watching those guys, and we have an idea of how they're doing and so on. And yeah, we'll make probably wait a bit more closer to the time.
And then just finally from me, I know you mentioned, I think it was during the fans forum or maybe the week before that you've been to a number of academy games at Forest. And then obviously with the break that you've had, I just wondered if you'd had a chance to go to games. I know that they were played on Monday. I didn't know whether you'd had a chance to go down and have a closer look at some of the players.
Not so much, because there was a game here at Meadow Lane with the second group with the youngsters, and they played a really tough opposition, and they've done very, very well, and some interesting players. So it's been a very heavy week for the staff and for the players as well last week, and we continued to work hard this week. So we managed to take in that game, but we didn't really take in more games than that, because of the time spent with the staff. It probably pushing everyone a little bit too much to make a journey away from Nottingham to watch a game. But yeah, we have a good grasp on the squad there at Forest, and we have some players of real interest to us, but nothing more immediate than that.